coelomic fluid which circulates inside the cockroach is hemolymph, just a plasma colored liquid. So it is hemolymph. Try to note down every point which I am emphasizing on while I am delivering this lecture to you people. The circulatory system of cockroach. See, again, many of the questions can arise from this part of physiology of the cockroach, which is circulatory system. The exactness is the key over here as well. First of all, the blood of the cockroach doesn't serve for the purpose of respiration. Although the hemocytes are present, but they are amoeboid in shape and they do not carry any pigment. And hence, the name of the coelomic fluid which circulates inside the cockroach is hemolymph, just a plasma colored liquid. So it is hemolymph. Try to note down every point which I am emphasizing on while I am delivering this lecture to you people. So, as I told you, the hemocytes are present, but they do not carry any respiratory pigment. And hence the blood is colorless, which is known as hemolymph, and it is colorless and is circulating inside the coelomic cavity of the cockroach. Okay. After coming on to this structural portion of the circulatory system, then try to memorize this diagram. Try to memorize this diagram. I have zoomed it for you people. The whole coelomic cavity is divided into three parts by two diaphragms, the dorsal diaphragm and the ventral diaphragm. See, this is the whole body cavity and these are the diaphragmatic spaces. These are the diaphragmatic projections. So, this one being the ventral diaphragm and the upper one is the dorsal diaphragm over here. You can see the two diaphragms. They are dividing into number 1, number 2 and number 3. Three basic coelomic cavity. So, the upper one is known as pericardial sinus. Sinus means blood filled space. Okay. So, the dorsal diaphragm, dorsal to the dorsal diaphragm. This portion will be more dorsal to the dorsal diaphragm. So, this particular cavity, coelomic cavity is known as the pericardial sinus. Pericardial sinus, why, how the name came? These are 13 chambered heart of the cockroach. These are the small triangular projections making the 13 chambers in the heart of the cockroach, and hence the name of the sinus being pericardial sinus. Okay. Then this is the perivisceral, the second one is the perivisceral sinus. Perivisceral sinus has gonocele, gonadial cavity in it and the esophagus along with it. The two main structure which is enclosed by this perivisceral sinus are the gonocele or the gonadial cavity. It is the true body cavity actually, basically concerned with the, it is analogous to human liver. Okay, this gonocele. This is very important term which I am telling you people. And the third one, the ventral sinus, bifurcates the perivisceral sinus into the third sinus space. This is the third sinus space and this is known as perineural. Why is it known as perineural? Because this is the nerve cord, this was the nerve cord and this space is enclosing this nerve cord and hence it is perineural sinus. This space was enclosing the heart, hence it got the name pericardial sinus. This space is enclosing the nerve cord, so perineural sinus, and this the middle space is enclosing the visceral organs and hence it got the name perivisceral sinus. So, this is a broad and the basic idea which you must have when you study about the circulatory system of the cockroach. So, this is the first thing which I wanted to tell you. The second thing, you can see in this diagram that dorsal diaphragm and the ventral diaphragm, they are having it is not continuous, they are having spaces in between. See, with the arrow it is being shown over here. These spaces are known as fenestra or sphincters, through which the blood will go into the heart. Both, see, on both the sides, over here as well. See, they are fenestra or the sphincters through which blood will pass from the perineural sinus into perivisceral sinus, and from perivisceral sinus into the pericardial sinus, from pericardial sinus into the last portion of the heart. From here the blood will flow from all the chambers and it will go into the head through a anterior aorta. So now this is the second thing which can be asked. This is the second concept which you must remember. The flow chart of the blood, how it flows. As we study in our body, na, like blood from the organs is going to the heart, from heart it is being pumped out into the lungs, from lungs again it is coming into the heart. So you study the sequelae of, or what you call the propagation of the circulation of the blood inside our body, through which organs it is passing throughout. So similarly, as you studied in the respiratory system also of the cockroach, similarly we have this thing in the circulatory system as well. Okay, so you have to remember this thing. So I have made a chart for that. Please do remember this diagram. See, the blood from the heart is reaching to head through this anterior aorta. So which structure is responsible for transferring the blood from thorax portion into the head portion? That is anterior aorta. Okay, head sinus. So as soon as the blood reaches, the head, you can see that it has a pulsatile ampulla. So the question can be asked, what is the function of this pulsatile ampulla which is present on the head of the cockroach? And it supplies blood to antenna and wings. It supplies blood to antenna and wings. So you must know what is the function of this pulsatile ampulla. What was this anterior aorta doing? It was connecting the thoracial, perithoracial circulation with the cephalic circulation. So that is anterior aorta over here for you people. Okay. So when you have seen this diagram, now come on to this flow chart and just see, have a check from head sinus into the ampulla, from now again through the dorsal diaphragm, from the perineural sinus to perivisceral sinus, perivisceral sinus to pericardial sinus. Okay. So this is ventral, basically this is ventral diaphragm and this seems to be the dorsal diaphragm. Just have a look at it. Blood from the perineural sinus through the ventral diaphragm, see this was ventral diaphragm, na, is reaching to perivisceral sinus, from perivisceral sinus again through dorsal diaphragm it is coming into the pericardial sinus, and once it has reached into the pericardial sinus through the 13 chambers of heart. See, now every heart is containing an ostia, just see, have a look at it. Every chamber of the heart is having a small ostia over here, just have a look at it. These ostial openings, so when the heart contracts, the blood is pushed into alary muscles. The one end of the alary muscle is attached to the tergum or the tergite. This portion was known as tergum. No? Attachment of the alary muscles can also be asked, and how does it help in it? So along with the alary muscles and tergosternal muscles, both the muscles are helping in circulation. Actually what happens, I tell you, when the sternotergal muscles dilate the body, these alary muscles expand or dilate the heart chambers, because try to remember the attachment of the sternotergal muscle. it was attached to the tergal portion and the sternal plate, na? The alary muscles are also attached to the tergal portion, na? So, there is a adjunctive action of both these muscles to increase the thoracic cavity and thereby dilating the tubules of the, thereby dilating the chambers of the heart. So, when they come down, so systole happens. When again the body thoracic cavity increases along with alary and tergosternal muscles, then what happens? Dilation of these tubules of the heart, the chambers of the heart. So, it is 13 chamber heart which is dorsally situated. Then we come on to excretory system. These are the Malpighian tubules. See, they are demarcated as over here. They are present on the ileocecal border, at the ileocecal junction in the alimentary canal. What do these Malpighian tubules do? Just see. They are absorbing much amount of water and other nitrogenous waste. They are, the undigested food is taken up over here and the nitrogenous waste, see the dry waste in form of uric acid is eliminated outside the body. Just have a look at it. See, the water is taken up by it, the potassium is secreted into it, the sodium, excess amount of sodium which has been intaken and which has not been digested or absorbed by the intestine is also secreted into this cavity, and along all the nitrogenous waste along with it is passed out from the hind gut into the rectal portion for the final elimination, Got to know it? Now, some facts and the organs which are responsible for the excretion of waste. This is very important, try to remember this. Potassium urate is the main excretory product. This potassium urate is converted into potassium bicarbonate and uric acid, and this uric acid is expelled out of the body of the cockroach. Okay. Then fat body, nephrocyte, body wall and uricose gland in males help in excretion. So, this question can be asked to you people in the NEET examination, which of the following is not helping in the excretion. So, most of the guys confused with the body wall which helps in the excretion. Actually, I have told you that this uric acid and other hyperuric or allantoic wastes are deposited on the wall of the body and is eliminated at the time of molting. So, remember this point, that body wall also plays a part in the excretion of the nitrogenous waste. Along with the fat body, urate cell, it is present in both the sexual variants. Nephrocyte, storage excretion. Storage excretion actually is reverse assimilation. The ammonial wastes are absorbed and is converted into proteins in the gonocele cavity which was enclosed by the perivisceral sinus. So, please make a note of it. Storage excretion. This nitrogenous waste is stored inside the body and some part of it is converted into proteins by the process of reverse assimilation. So, this is a storage excretion phenomena which is taken up by the nephrocytes in the cockroach. And body wall, I have told you, uricose glands only in males. Actually, what happens when you will study about the reproductive system of the cockroach, then you have some glands which are known as utricular glands. So, they have a long and a short tubules. So, on the tip of the long tubules which are known as utriculus majorus, these uricose glands are present. I will be dealing in detail with these uricose glands when I will teach you about the reproductive system of the cockroach. For time being, when we are studying about the excretory system, you must know that the uricose gland are only present in males, but all the three, the body wall, the nephrocytes and the fat bodies, that is what I am telling you many a times. Remember this thing, okay? Gonocele, the fat bodies. So, they are present in both the variants. These are also known as the urate cells. They help in the excretion and getting elimination of the nitrogenous waste and the storage of the nitrogenous waste, which is known as storage elimination inside the body of the cockroach. So, this excretory system is also very important from the point of. Then we come on to nervous system. Again many questions are being asked on the nervous system as well. The first question is, how many pairs of ganglia are present? How many pairs of ganglia are present in the cockroach? The answer is 9, not 10. 10 were spiracles. Now again, the 6th minor ganglia is present on the 7th segment of the abdomen. Make a note of it. These are small questions which can be asked to you people, and you can easily get confused with it. So, what I told you, there are 9 pair of ganglia which are present in the cockroach. 3 are major which are present in the thorax, they are bigger and larger in size, and 6 are minor which are present on the abdominal portion. Each ganglia corresponds to segment of the abdomen. The 6th minor ganglia is present on the 7th segment of the abdomen. Okay. So, you can easily see it in the diagram as well. The subesophageal ganglion, the thoracic ganglion, which I am basically dealing about, the thoracic 1, 2 and 3. They are 3 major ganglion which are present over here. See, the brain I will be dealing first of all about the thoracic ganglion. 3 these were, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. These 6, they are present on the abdomen. So, first thing which you learned over here is this. Now, I come on to brain. See the central nervous system, try to say it, central nervous system. So, central nervous system in human is comprised of a brain and a nerve cord. Similarly, in the cockroach also it consists of a brain and a nerve cord. Just see the diagram. The brain is represented by 2 pair of ganglion which is present either on the dorsal surface of the esophagus or on the ventral surface of the esophagus. Okay. Supraesophageal ganglion and subesophageal ganglion. This is the tube. Either it will be present over the top or it will be present below it, either on the dorsal surface of the esophagus, the supraesophageal ganglion, or on the ventral surface of the esophagus. So, it will be known as subesophageal ganglion, and these 2 ganglions are connected with each other with the help of a connectives. Okay, not commissures, connectives. Now, if someone has really listened to my lectures on animal kingdom, then you might be able to tell me the difference between the connectives and the commissures. Try to recall it. So, this was about the brain. The brain is represented by 2 pair of ganglion. I have already mentioned it over here actually, the supraesophageal and the subesophageal ganglion, it has been written over here. So, it was represented by brain. The nerve cord, as in us, here also the invertebrates have their nerve cord which is always solid and ventral. As you will study about the evolutionary history, from ventral it went to mid dorsal and then it went to dorsal. Na? So, it is an evolutionary trend of upraising of the nerve cord from ventral to dorsal. So, try to remember at this point also, in which phylum did you find mid dorsal nerve cord? Which animal showed this? So, try an easy question which can come in the NEET examination for you people on nerve cord. Solid, it is solid, double, present on both the lateral sides, left and right. Solid, double, present on the ventral side. So, ventral nerve cord. Okay. Solid, ventral, double nerve cord. So, nerve cord, this is what I have paired, longitudinal, solid nerve cord is located on the ventral side of the body. Longitudinal just because it is parallel to the long axis of the body of the cockroach. So, it is known as longitudinal. Then the peripheral nervous system, which I discussed with you people, that there are 3 pair of thoracic ganglion which are larger in size. They are formed by the fusion of a single ganglion, while the sixth one, the last ganglion is formed by the fusion of many ganglions together. Okay. So, this is about peripheral ganglion. Then autonomic nervous system. The autonomic nervous system, then I must tell you about this line. See this line. Sympathetic and parasympathetic supply. Involuntary actions are usually being controlled. There is a gland present over here. Corpora cardiaca. It releases a juvenile hormone. It releases a juvenile hormone and is under the control of sympathetic nervous system. Now, again this is a question in the NEET examination. So, I am just enumerating to you every single question which has been either asked or can be asked in the NEET examination. This is a detailed case study of cockroach. Anything can be asked to you people. So, you need to be prudent enough to interpret and articulate the various physiological phenomena which are happening inside this cockroach. So, if you don't remember these things, try to simulate it with human beings, and that is what I have done with you people. Try to simulate these things if you really want to memorize them with humans. As we have brain, we have spinal cord, so it has a double ventral nerve cord and supra and subesophageal ganglions. Similarly, in the circulatory system and the respiratory system or the excretory system, like the upper portion of the mesenteron was basically concerned with the absorption of most of the food, isn't it? Similarly, in our intestine also the absorption is going to take place over here. Most of the water is absorbed in the cecal portion or the colon portion of in the human body. Similarly, in the cockroaches, the amount of water is absorbed by the rectal papilla muscles. There are rectal papilla, or ribbon-like projections at rectum position, which absorb most of the amount of water, leaving only the crystalline uric acid as the excretory waste. Reverse assimilation, storage elimination, uricose gland, the presence of it in the sex selective cases, the gonocele, like in nervous system you have studied about the various receptors, eye, ommatidia, you have studied about the antenna, you have studied about the anal cerci, isn't it? About the palps which are present inside the body, isn't it? There are some sensilla cells, sensilla. These are neurosensory cells which are present on the dermis portion of the cockroach. Cockroach usually lacks epidermis. It doesn't. It just has a cuticular layer and a hypodermis. If you go into the graduation studies, you will see to it. If you cut a longitudinal section, you will have to know that there are a special type of neurosensory cells which are known as sensilla, which are present in the hypodermal portion. They have a CT, a palpal projections over their body. So, there are many things. So, what you have to do, you people have to articulate this all facts together and study it as you are studying humans. This is the only way you are going to remember and articulate, not just remembering. I always say it's not about remembrance, it's not about retentivity, it's about the connectivity, which I always emphasize on. Okay. So, in my next lecture I am going to discuss you about the reproductive system, again a very important topic from the point of view of cockroach and in NEET. So, try to read to my lectures and make note of it. Always have a pen and a paper while you listen to my videos. So, we come on to the reproductive system of roaches. The roaches reproduce on an average of 100 days, which may vary from 45 to 215 days. Okay. So, when we talk about roaches in pertaining to NEET examination in which you people are going to appear, this lecture would be important for you people. Definitely a question comes from the reproductive system of the roach. So in this chapter, what you people have to do, you people have to remember the name of the glands, their location and their function in a chronological order. I would try to teach you people in a chronological order which is well articulated, and the function of each gland described at that particular point of time itself. Okay. So without wasting amount of time for you people, I start with the male reproductive system of the roach. So this is a structure of a male reproductive system. In this system, what you find, the primary sperm producing organ is testes. See,